You're doing everything right. You fill your shopping cart with vibrant, healthy foods, choosing options that promise to boost your gut health and support your immune system. You dutifully add a scoop of sauerkraut to your lunch, sip on kombucha in the afternoon, enjoy a nice piece of aged cheddar as a snack. Yet, despite your best efforts, a persistent and frustrating puffiness lingers around your midsection. It's a stubborn swelling that doesn't respond to exercise or calorie counting. You feel like your own body is working against you, betraying your efforts. This is more common than you think and points to a hidden culprit many overlook. The very foods praised for probiotic benefits and rich flavors could be the source. It feels like a paradox. The good guys causing trouble. You might start to question what you know about nutrition. The frustration is real, but the answer might be simpler than you imagine. It isn't that the food is bad, but that your unique body reacts to a specific compound. That culprit is a powerful little chemical called histamine. For many, histamine is processed fine, but for a growing number it can accumulate and trigger low-grade inflammation, which shows up as a tight, swollen, uncomfortable midsection. Let's start with the basics, right? Histamine is a small but mighty chemical messenger, a crucial player in several of your body's most important systems. It is what scientists call a biogenic amine. It's involved in your immune response. It's involved in digestion. It's involved in brain function. When you get a mosquito bite, histamine is one of the first responders. When you get a paper cut, histamine is one of the first responders. It rushes to the site of the injury. It signals your blood vessels to dilate. It makes them more permeable. This allows white blood cells to flood the area. It also allows other immune agents to flood the area. They fight off invaders and begin healing. The redness you feel is a direct result of histamine. The swelling is a direct result of histamine. The itchiness is a direct result of histamine. In this context, histamine is incredibly useful. It's a vital part of your body's defense and repair toolkit. Think of it as a temporary alarm that signals a problem and mobilizes the troops. It also plays key roles elsewhere. In your stomach, it triggers release of stomach acid. That acid is essential for breaking down food. In your brain, histamine acts as a neurotransmitter. It helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle. It helps keep you alert and focused during the day. Think of it like a fire alarm. When there's a real fire, you want that alarm loud and clear. But if the alarm keeps blaring day and night when there's no fire, it becomes chronic stress. Similarly, persistently high histamine shifts you from acute, helpful inflammation to chronic, damaging inflammation. This is when symptoms go far beyond a simple, itchy spot. This excess state is often called histamine intolerance. It's not a true allergy. It's a condition where your body can't break down and clear histamine efficiently. The overload can show up as many confusing symptoms: recurring headaches or migraines, hives, eczema, a constantly runny nose, unexplained anxiety, digestive distress, and it can lead to stubborn inflammatory swelling in your gut, making your belly feel puffy and tight even when you eat healthy foods. So, if histamine is causing all this trouble, where is it all coming from then? The answer is twofold. Your body produces its own histamine, and you also consume it directly from the foods you eat. Your body's internal production is a tightly regulated process. Specialized immune cells store histamine and release it when they detect a threat, like an allergen, like an injury, like a pathogen. This is a normal and necessary function. But the histamine you get from your diet is an external factor that can tip the scales and overwhelm your system, especially if your body's ability to clear it is compromised. Certain bacteria and yeast produce an enzyme that converts histidine, an amino acid in proteins, into histamine. The longer a food sits to ferment or age, the more histamine builds. That's why aged cheeses, Parmesan, blue cheese, old cheddar, cured meats, salami, pepperoni, prosciutto, and fermented products often top the high histamine list. The great paradox of fermented foods: sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt, kefir, kombucha are praised for probiotics that support gut health. For many people, they do exactly that. But fermentation also generates significant amounts of histamine. If your body struggles to break down histamine, eating these foods is like pouring gasoline on an inflammatory fire. You introduce a flood of histamine into your gut, which can overwhelm detox pathways and cause bloating and swelling. To keep histamine in check, your body relies on enzymes as cleanup crews. The key gut enzyme is diamine oxidase, DO. DO breaks down excess dietary histamine before it enters the bloodstream. Inside cells, histamine N-methyltransferase, HANMT, clears internally produced histamine. If DO function is low due to genetics, certain medications, gut inflammation, nutrient deficiencies, you lose your primary defense. The dam breaks, and histamine floods your system, triggering that puffy belly and other symptoms. Quick pause. If this is helpful, tap like, share with a friend, and subscribe to support more science-based deep dives. Now, meet the tiny alarm boxes that make all this swell, literally. To truly understand how a high histamine meal leads to a swollen midsection, we need to introduce another key player in this story, the mast cell. Mast cells are a type of white blood cell and are a critical part of your innate immune system. You can think of them as tiny distributed alarm boxes or security guards stationed throughout your body's tissues. Skin, your respiratory tract, lining your entire digestive tract. These cells are packed with little granules filled with powerful chemical mediators, including histamine. The primary job of a mast cell is to sense danger and sound the alarm. When a mast cell detects a threat, whether it's a parasite, a physical injury, a toxin, or an allergen, it has been programmed to recognize. It undergoes a process called degranulation. This is a fancy way of saying it opens its doors and releases its contents, including a massive burst of histamine, into the surrounding tissue. This release is what initiates the inflammatory cascade we discussed earlier, calling other immune cells to the area to deal with the perceived threat. This is a brilliant and effective defense mechanism when deployed correctly. However, mast cells can sometimes become overly sensitive or unstable. In this state, they are considered twitchy or hyper-responsive. Instead of only degranulating in response to a genuine threat, they start reacting to things that shouldn't be a problem, like stress, changes in temperature, or even certain foods. This condition is known as mast cell activation syndrome, and it can lead to a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation. When the mast cells in your gut lining are perpetually triggered, they constantly release histamine and other inflammatory molecules directly into your digestive system, causing localized swelling, fluid retention, and that frustrating puffy feeling in your abdomen. This creates a vicious cycle that is difficult to escape. It's a feedback loop. The histamine from your food makes your mast cells release more histamine, which increases overall inflammation, which in turn makes your mast cells even more sensitive and reactive. Now let's connect all the dots and see exactly how this process unfolds after a meal. Imagine you sit down to a healthy lunch. A large salad topped with grilled chicken, a variety of fresh vegetables, and a generous helping of tangy sauerkraut for its probiotic benefits, all washed down with a bottle of kombucha. For someone with a robust DAO enzyme and stable mast cells, this is a fantastic, nutrient-dense meal. But if you have histamine intolerance, the story is very different. Within an hour or two, you start to feel that familiar, uncomfortable pressure building in your abdomen as your waistband gets noticeably tighter. Here is the biological mechanism in simple terms. First, the sauerkraut and the kombucha, being fermented products, deliver a significant load of preformed histamine directly into your small intestine. This is the first wave. If your DIO enzyme levels in the gut lining are insufficient to neutralize this influx, the histamine begins to be absorbed through the intestinal wall into your system. This is where the problem escalates. The presence of this excess histamine in the gut tissue acts as a direct signal to the millions of mast cells stationed there, essentially telling them that there is an inflammatory event underway that requires their attention. In response, these mast cells degranulate, releasing their own internal stores of histamine and other inflammatory mediators like prostaglandins and cytokines. First, the wine and cheese effect. You enjoy a platter of aged cheeses and a glass of red wine, another high histamine item, at a party, and wake up the next morning feeling puffy and congested with a headache. Second, the leftover effect. You eat a perfectly fine meal of chicken and rice on Monday, but when you eat the leftovers on Wednesday, you feel bloated and unwell because histamine levels have increased over time. And a small moment of light humor. The avocado betrayal, where that creamy, delicious fruit, which can be a histamine liberator, suddenly turns on you, making your perfectly healthy toast the source of your afternoon puffiness. This massive release of inflammatory chemicals causes the local blood vessels in your gut lining to become leaky, allowing fluid to seep out into the surrounding tissues. This process, known as vasodilation and increased vascular permeability, is what creates the physical swelling and bloating. Your belly isn't necessarily full of gas. It's inflamed and retaining fluid, which is why it can feel so tight and hard. If you suspect histamine might be the secret saboteur behind your belly swelling, the good news is there are clear, simple steps you can try to investigate and find relief. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Start with small, manageable changes and watch how your body responds. The goal is to calm the inflammatory fire in your gut, support your body's natural histamine-clearing pathways, and stabilize overactive mast cells so they return to a non-panicked state. The first and most powerful step is a short-term, low-histamine food trial. For 2 to 3 weeks, commit to strictly avoiding high-histamine foods, aged cheeses, cured meats, fermented products like sauerkraut and kombucha, alcohol, especially red wine, dried fruit, spinach, avocados, tomatoes, and long-stored leftovers. During this trial, focus on fresh, just-cooked meals and keep a simple food and symptom diary. Then reintroduce one at a time every 3 days to identify your triggers. Consider DAO supplements with a practitioner. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next video.